it's good to see you guys again, and happy to be back here at App State. It's been a great place, and I'm excited to be back. And obviously, being around the staff that I know, head coach Sean Clark has been awesome throughout the years, coaching with him, and as I said, the offensive coordinator 2 years ago. So I'm extremely excited to be back here at App State.
David Ware, 24/7 Sports. Frank, let's get the obvious question out of the way right up front. As you said, you're at App State in 2021. Take the opportunity at Miami last year, and now you've come back to App State. Talk about that decision process. What led you to want to be back in Boone?
Well, first and foremost, obviously Boone's become home. It's become my second home here, and I love it here. And again, the staff the people here are fantastic. Working with Coach Clark has been phenomenal throughout the years, and a bunch of the other guys that I've coached with before. I know we have a great staff. I know the dynamic. I know the tradition here at App State, and I had no hesitation when I was offered the offensive coordinator job to have the opportunity to come and call the plays here, and again, be part of this program and this tradition, and it's something that I really wanted to do.
In shifting gears, since you guys start spring ball on Monday, talking about the offensive unit as a whole, you've had, I'm sure, plenty of time now to watch a lot of film, see what went on last year. You understand a lot of this personnel because it was here when you were here in 2021. What are the things that you want to try to accomplish with that offense over that 15 days of spring ball?
Sure. The biggest thing is to continue the success that we've had here at App State throughout the years offensively, and enhance it. Obviously, we want to establish our run game. That's what we're known for, and we want to be great at that. The personnel looks fantastic. I mean, it's something that I've watched all the games already from last year. And the kids, obviously, our players play extremely hard here. There's a lot of pride here at App State. So the biggest thing here in the spring is the questions that are going to need to be answered is the quarterback position. Is who's going to be the signal caller for us. Obviously, Chase just graduated and had a fantastic career, and we've had some great quarterbacks here throughout the history. And so the next guy, he's got a lot of big shoes to fill, tradition-wise. So that's going to be the biggest question. Our offensive line is going to be solid. Tackles are going to be the other question here as far as who's going to be the guy to start for us. But I think the running back position is I'm excited about it. It's a very talented group. The wide receivers are very talented. The tight ends are extremely talented. And they've been very productive throughout the years. So I think that if we can continue the success that we've had traditionally here at App State offensively and do the things that we're known for doing, I think we're going to be just fine.
Nice segue into the quarterback discussion. You've got a specific history here. You were there at the start of Taylor Lamb's development, same with Zach Thomas, and then you guided Chase Bryce in his first season here to a program passing record. When it comes to this group you've got in now and trying to determine who's going to take that front runner spot, what are the criteria you're looking for? What are the things that you want to see out of each one of these guys? Certainly from start to finish, there'll be a progression, but what are the things at the end that you need to see present with those guys?
The first thing is a thorough understanding of the offense. And I think you look at the guys, the offense has been a little tweaked at times. We've had some different coordinators here, and rightfully so. They're going to bring their system or some of but the meat and potato, the core of the offense and the system has remained pretty much the same. If you go back to the quarterbacks, to your question, Dave, you had Taylor Lamb we have here for 4 years. We had Zach the opportunity to learn from him. So he sat in all the meetings, saw him play, saw his progression, his reads, his leadership qualities, and how he did things. So he was able to learn and make everything easier in the transition. Obviously, you still got to go out there and play, but he had a leg up on that in that aspect. Then Chase comes in here, he has none of that. But he has the experience of playing football already in game situations and at a high level, and comes in here. So all we have to do now is teach him the system. And I think we have a very quarterback-friendly system that quarterbacks are successful with. And throughout the time here, since we moved to FBS, it's been shown that that's been the case. And now we had some young guys that have been able to see Chase for the last 2 years. Obviously, we saw some guys only see him for 1 year because they just got here, but they've seen him operate and learn the system, and there's not much that has changed. And there's some things that we're going to continue to keep from last year that are solid for us, and the kids feel good about it. So as coaches, we got to make sure that we keep what they feel comfortable with and able to execute. So I think that part of it is going to help a lot with that transition. And again, spring ball is going to say a lot. The first 2 weeks, kind of let the kids get kind of their feet wet in there and with the offense and the new guys, and they're going to be able to compete. We got a bunch of talented quarterbacks in the room, and they're going to be able to compete.
Chris Womack, WLOS, sticking with the quarterback topic. Is everybody starting blank slate? Do you have somebody that has already kind of taken a little bit of a lead? And do you have any kind of timetable or urgency to settle on a starter?
I don't think there's an urgency of it. We definitely going to take our time and let those guys compete thoroughly and give everybody an opportunity. If you to answer your question, who's got the upper hand, it's hard to say right now. I would have to say, obviously Ryan has been here under the system. They have some playing time as last year. So, and then we got a new kid in here, transfer from junior college, in Joey. So, and he's very talented. But watching those guys move around in workouts and just the report in the weight room, these guys are very competitive, very talented, strong, athletic. So it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see these guys compete and give them every single one of them the opportunity, every single drill we have to be able to compete and see how good they can really be and how well they throw the football. And in the meeting room, it's going to come down to the mental aspect. How much do we understand the offense? How much do we understand our progression? Where to go with the football? And I think those things are going to be the key ingredient for who ends up being the quarterback.
You hear Coach Clark talk about it all the time, how they don't chase stars in recruiting. You look for kids that fit App State. Mm-hmm. How important is it for both coordinators in your mind to kind of have some familiarity with the program and working within those boundaries? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, well, it's big. You talk about understanding the dynamics of Appalachian State, the tradition, and you have two coordinators now, myself and Coach Sloan, that have been here before. They were here part of the transition from FCS to FBS, and we've been blessed to be part of a winning program and tradition and winning a lot of football games at App State. And, when the head coach, Coach Satterfield, was here, and then we weren't here when Drinkwitz was here, but they won a lot, and Coach Clark has won a lot. So we're all part of the Appalachian State family. We understand the dynamics, what it takes, the type of kids we need to bring in here, high-character kids, smart kids, guys that are going to work, blue-collar type of players. And, and when you have two you have Preston, head coach that played here, he definitely understands what it takes to be a Mountaineer and the type of guys we need here in the program.
Finally, for me, you've said you've watched every game so far, mm-hmm. or from last year. Statistically speaking, App was top 4 in most of the offensive categories in the Sun Belt last year. Where did you see room for improvement that maybe led to not reaching bowl eligibility?
Well, I think there's always room for improvement in certain areas. So we look. I go back to what we did 2 years ago when I was here, and look at the things that we did, and had a lot of success. But the things that we can do better. And then I went and watched this year, and there's things that they did offensively that, again, like I said earlier, there's some things that are good concepts that we want to keep with us. But it goes back to one thing, is being able to run the football. And that's where we've made our living. That's where we've had our success here, our championship runs, is being able to do that number one thing, is to be able to run the football. And then we have the players outside. We've always had the skilled players that are going to make plays when we need them to, whether it's with the receivers, tight ends, or running backs. But we definitely need to establish that to be an extremely well-rounded offense and balanced offense.
David Rogers, highcountrysports.net. Frank, this is your third arrival to the high country. What's different this time?
Well, honestly, I'll be honest with you, it feels like I never left, so it feels like it's really not much of a difference, and I feel like I truly walked in my office and everything was the same way I left it, the same way when 2 years ago. So it's been, again, excited to be back, and really the people are the same. Everyone is always been so welcome with open arms, and that's one thing about Boone and the Appalachian State that I really love. And obviously being here for the third time, it says a lot of how I feel about this place.
I know I asked you this question when you came back from Louisville a couple years ago, so I know part of your answer is going to be ball is ball. But what have you learned, and what are you bringing back with you from your experiences outside of off the mountain?
Well, I will say it again. Ball's ball, right? So it ain't just a lot of things. You know, you learn. Obviously, I had the opportunity to coach with a great head football coach in Miami, and learn a lot of the detail things that he does with his program, and you know some of the things offensively we did there, and the way he explained things to the program, the entire organization, that I want to be able to use for our offensive unit and share with them. But there's a lot of things that are positive that I obviously bring with me here with this time around. You know, whether it's Miami or Louisville or App State in itself, and just always trying to learn and get better overall with philosophy and details and how to be able to teach things a little bit better or do things a little bit better schematically. So there's a lot of good things that we're bringing over.
You mentioned the run first sort of theme, the tradition here. Around the league, around the NFL, the whole running quarterback thing has become a pretty big thing. Mm-hmm. Is that important to the App State offense now? And what are your thoughts on that? In your selection process as going forward?
Sure, absolutely. I think the game has changed, right? And I think we all know that. We see the mobility of the quarterbacks in the National Football League and college, and it has to be there. So, you know, and we have guys that can move. We have guys that are mobile. And the biggest thing is you don't have to be a runner first. But you have to be able to run. You have to be able to hurt the defense with your legs, be able to move the ball, move the chains with your legs, and create plays. And you really have to be an extended part of the run game as a quarterback today. And so we talked about it already with our quarterback room, is we're going to have to be able to run the football with the quarterback, whether it's improvised or designed, but we have to be able to do it. And I tell them you don't have to be Lamar Jackson because there's only one of those, but you have to be able to move the offense and be able to make plays for us to help us win games.
Only one for me. I think David took one of mine. Just entering a quarterback room where I imagine you have relationships on different levels with different guys, whether they were here, they were looking at here. What's that been like, kind of resuming and developing some of those relationships with the 4 or 5 guys that are in that room with you?
Well, just the biggest thing is they're basically the only one that I really came, actually 2 of them, they came in county and recruiting-wise was Ryan Berger and Joey. I got to see Joey a year ago, not a year ago, pretty about 4 months ago. We were recruiting, I was recruiting and saw him and was really impressed with him. So that's before I came here. So he ended up coming here, and here we are. So I kind of know those guys, and they have a good relationship they established while recruiting them, talking with them. So the other guys are new. So, you know, we're getting to know each other. A bunch of great kids. They're phenomenal, fantastic kids. So I look forward to working with the entire group, and I think they're very talented. I watched them move around, and, you know, they've done a lot of good things. Watched film on them already. The guys that I haven't seen, and they're extremely talented, can throw the football. So I'm excited about that group. So we're ready to get rolling on Monday.